last review video. Depending on when this video comes out, maybe not. But what's going on in YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you a review for Batwoman, Season 3, Episode 1, called Mad as a Hatter. This was a very interesting episode, but we'll get into it. As Batwoman continues to keep the streets of Gotham safe, Batwing joins in on the action, but Luke quickly realizes he hasn't quite mastered his suit. As Alice sits hopelessly in prison in Arkham, Sophie fully enjoys her freedom. Quickly, I want to say, like, the freedom part with Sophie, it was so very much like not really a forefront, or not really throughout the whole episode. So quickly, I want to say that, like, her freedom just basically like is one of the beginning scenes. But I get to it. Because I forgot that it was a scene in the beginning. But basically, the episode begins with Luke and or AKA Batwing and Batwoman. They basically fighting some criminals, because these particular criminals were drug dealers who have poison ivy's one of her radiated vines they was trying to use to enhance their drugs and try to get more money. So as they fight, they banter about him being a sidekick and try to come up with a good name for him. And she, I'm about to say Sophie, Batwoman is like, please don't tell me you was gonna call yourself Black Batman. He was like, what? You try coming up with a name, catchy name then. But then they find it. They get, Ryan, she's trying to figure out why was it big? Because last time she seen it, it wasn't even that irradiated. It wasn't that big, but now it's been growing, and Luke informs her that it's probably because when it washed up into the lake, it probably got some water on it, and they probably hit it with some sunlight or light of any kind. And that's when he quickly said, he was like, you know what? Speaking of which, don't let no light hit this, because because Batwoman was about to raise it up, and he quickly stopped it because he realized they would have raised it up too high, so light would have shined down on it, and possibly could have caused it to grow even more. So put it back down, put it back in this crate container, and proceed to beat up some more bad guys while taking it. And pretty much that's the first scene. And I think the next scene is like, so in Sophie, basically, I think it was either at the same time as this scene or right after this scene, where basically Sophie going on multiple dates with multiple women, and that's pretty much what enjoying her freedom was for this episode. It was like that one scene showing that she's dating multiple women, and they like, wait a minute, I thought you was dating Kate. Like, what happened with Kate? And they said it was because it was too complicated, and they remain good friends. And so Sophie pretty much is free to date who she want to date after holding out hope that she would be able to date Kay Kane. So while this is all happening, I forgot that why do I always forget her name? Kay Kane's stepsister. I always forget her name, and I don't know why. It's like I remember and then I forget. Mary. Jesus Christ, I cannot remember her name. So we get to a scene with Arkham where Mary's on her way. Mary's about to visit Alice, but right before that, Alice is sitting in her cell reading a postcard from her father Jacob, who promised that he's going to move heaven and earth to get her out of Arkham, and that he still believes there's good in her. And she basically comes to visit then that's when she was informed she got a visitor, and we see that visitor is Mary. Mary says she's there to do her to basically make her dad proud, that she's gonna keep. She wants to check. I guess he wants her to check on Alice to make sure that she doesn't do anything and go off the deep end. And Alice was like, "Well, that's news to you because he's been writing to me and all this other stuff. So you don't really need to come down here and check on me because he knows what's going on with me. So what are you really here for? Are you really here just to to just the fact that you want to sisterly bond? You just really want to see me suffer because of what I done to you?" And Mary just like, "Well, I did my due diligence." But the shaking of her head wasn't because of what Alice said. It was more, well, it was, but not what she just said. She shook her head at the fact that she was genuinely shocked that Jacob was writing to her. And it was like something that she didn't know, which will play on later into the episode. So, after this scene, we see a scene with an unseen person basically finding the Mad Hatter's hat, and he basically puts it up. I think he put it on eBay or Amazon or something like that. He puts it up to sale, and he waits for a buyer. Eventually, he does get a buyer, so he ships it. And so he'll pack it up and ship it to the buyer, and then so the package being opened up by the buyer, and it's this guy who's is this guy who basically is an obsessed fan with Alice, and he just like the Jarvis Tech, I think that's his name, the original Mad Hatter. He sees himself as a Mad Hatter too, so he puts on the hat and dresses up as the Mad Hatter, wanting to be the Mad Hatter to Alice. So Alice, so he goes on to like make like this video documentary about how he feels that Gotham really let Alice down because they just treated her like a monster, threw her away, not realizing that anybody would break for being tortured and kidnapped like that and tortured and stuff like that. Why would you give up on her so easily and just label her a monster without even trying to see that she's just a victim, just like anybody else? Which he brings up some valid points. I think he was making like a live blog or something, but he does bring up a valid point. Alice is technically a victim of being kidnapped by a psychopath. So even though she had plenty of time to try to get over that, it's really hard for her because she really did break. Like it's really something is wrong with her because of what happened, and that's basically what she's trying to convey to everybody, including her sister Kate, that you keep searching for Beth within me. You want the Beth that you remember to come back and that she's somewhere in me, and maybe she is somewhere within me, but Beth had to to protect that what's left of that Beth. She had to basically make me. I had to turn myself into this so that whatever's left of Beth is still there. And then we all know because of that hypnotist lady, whatever she did, the way she hypnotized Beth, it also kind of killed more of Beth's original personality than it was. That's why she's so eccentric in the way she is, because that hypnotist lady made her kind of like that. But so this pertains into the fact that there's something that Alice is going to come into the play in the next few minutes here, because then the new Mad Hatter realizes the ability of the hat when he's confronted by some bully buttholes in the sewer of the last known location of Alice's hideout, and they pretty much bullying him about why he's dressed like that and all that type of stuff. And I think they was almost about to beat him up, but he said stop, and he realized the hat has the power to basically make people do what you say that you tell them to do, and he basically makes them stop. He tells the dude when the dude try to like rough him up, he makes him stop, and then he realized that he got the power to control them because he made them stop moving, and now they couldn't move. So basically, he tells one dude to slit the other dude's throat, and the dude had no choice but to comply because of the hypnotism of the hat. You have to do what the where it tells you to do, no matter what, unless you can find like a loophole. But he realizing this, he wants to create his own tea party, and we find out, Alice tells them like the tea party is basically what she did when she killed your mother. Talking to Mary. So now they're on the hunt. They realize after the news broke about what happened, they realize that the person they're dealing with somebody who found Jarvis's hat, and Luke explains to Mary and Ryan and Sophie that Jarvis was like a tech genius who knew how to specifically a neural tech genius. He knew how to make tech based off of neurology, the stuff that goes on with your brain. And that's how the hat works, because they were trying to figure out how he was able to use the hat, and they said that Luke said the hat allows the first person to wear it, the control of the tech, basically allowing him to control anybody who hears who I guess the hat is affected to the frequency of the human mind, and anybody within his within his side of his voice could be controlled by the hat. So this sets off on a hunt for this new guy, and the new guy is planning a tea party, which is something that's going to involve Mary. This leads to a series of events where they realize that maybe Alice is the key to stopping this guy, since he's like a super fan. They reluctantly agrees. There's also a side story with Ryan. I forgot that Mary said something to Sophie. I mean, not Sophie, but Mary. Not Mary. Alice said something to Mary about Ryan's mother, and told Mary that to tell Ryan that she didn't know what it means. And Ryan plays it off, but then Sophie realizes it and asks her what's going on, and she tells Sophie that Alice keeps telling her that her birth mother is alive, and that she doesn't know whether or not to believe her or not, but because it's a potential that I have a actual parent that's out there still alive, I need to know. So she puts Sophie on the case. So at Mary's graduation, which is for her, I think she finally got her MD or whatever to become a full doctor. So she was at her graduation. They go. She gives her a letter and informs Ryan that Alice was telling the truth, and that all signs point to that your mother still could be alive. So Ryan has lots to think about. She has this note within front of her. She doesn't know what to do with it. So she's like, you know what? We're gonna focus on Mary's graduation right now. This could come later. But it turns out that's going to come way later, because it's really the new Mad Hatter 2.0, as I call him. His tea party involved Mary, and following what Alice did to Mary's mother, he wanted Mary to expose the corruption of corporate medicine, and to do so, he forces Mary with the hat to basically kill the presenter of their graduation by slowly in front of everybody removing every appendage and extremities until he dies. When they realized what was going on and that he was behind Mary's weird acceptance speech or weird speech, they put on these earbuds that blocks the frequency, and now the hunt is on to stop him. But this is when they realize that maybe the only way to stop him was to use Alice, and Ryan as Batwoman try to break Alice out of jail, which Alice refused to go, and she basically run away from Batwoman, and she yells at when she tried to go hide in her room. Ryan kicks the door open and is like, you know, we need you. I need you to come help save people. She's like, no, my father's going to get me out here. You see these postcards? He's sending me these postcards. He's going to get me out of here. I need to be good and wait on him. And Ryan looks is like, what postcards? Those are nothing but napkins and cut out pieces of magazine papers and stuff. And she's like, no, what are you talking like? What you know? Alice is looking. She's like, what the? And she, you know, when she sees that her wall is not covered in postcards, but really like what Ryan said they are, and she can't believe it because she just seen it, and then she realized. Ryan and both her realized at the same time that her mind broke again for being stuck in this place. Like, I guess it's traumatic for her to be stuck somewhere because of how she was kidnapped and was forced to be stuck somewhere. So now she basically, every time she gets stuck somewhere where she can't go within her own free will, her mind gets to like basically blocking stuff out and try to protect herself from going crazy. So she sees things that are not really there. This leads to a series of events, and I'm not going to get into it, but because that was spoiled. But I will say there is a good good cliffhanger in this episode 2 that connects back to the whole situation with Ryan and her mother. Overall, I would give this episode of Batwoman I give it an 8.5 big ups too. Just because it was a good episode and it really did set the stage. The only thing I didn't like about the episode was that how I thought every piece of Lost Tech was going to play into like a villain of the episode and going forward. But the fact that they recovered Poison Ivy's vine so quickly, we that's a potential story that I thought we were going to get to see, but not. But that's the only thing I had a problem with. Everything else was cool. And if you enjoyed this review, then hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this review so much you want to support the channel, then hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the family, part of the tribe, and the growing tribe, and hit that notification button so you don't miss videos like these and videos I got coming up in the future. That I still got that that Halloween Kills review and that James Bond review coming. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. Chief is out. But see you in the next video. Peace.